What's up, everybody? This is Elan Jones, and today I'm going to be talking about the sexual appeal of the YouTube curmudgeon. So, a curmudgeon is an old complainer, basically. And curmudgeons are not supposed to be sexy, but on platforms like these, older, cranky people who complain incessantly, especially women, have sex appeal, whether viewers want to admit it or not. No matter how inflammatory or unlikable the content, the attraction is still there. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why that is. So first, I want to say that the average age for the people who create content in this sector of YouTube is about 43 years old. That's not old, but that is a mature age. It is older for the demographic, considering the topics that these people speak on and overall the discussions that they're a part of. So these topics are almost always centered around dating or relationships or sexual market value, and not necessarily speaking from a place of wisdom or being solution-based, but as another player in the game, open to any attention this platform may bring to them in that regard. So here we have an older person who has no solutions, who constantly complains, a curmudgeon, an unattractive personality that people are still attracted to. Here's why. For one, there's an element of challenge there, and men especially like challenge. Men being attracted to women they feel they can't have or get, right? And these men want to be the one to turn these anti-Black male YouTubers, for instance, out, or they may want to convince them that they are worthy of their approval. Also, Black men are more attracted to brash women who are mean. They say they want respectful feminine women, but they really want mean women who are into domination and subtle abuse and things like that because she's mean like their mothers. And that's where this topic is going today. These YouTube curmudgeons remind certain Black men on this platform of their mothers. So you see it even in the way these women dress. It's like a mom, right? Big titties, meat on her bones, that mature build. She'll have that nicely furnished house in the background, an established home, just a mature setup like your mom. The makeup, the cleavage. This is a look that's attractive to Black men of all ages, and it's familiar, as this represents the first person that this type of Black man was ever attracted to. This isn't an easy thing to talk about, what I'm about to get into, but a lot of Black women, especially single ones who are raising boys by themselves, they're inappropriate with them as they're growing up. Things that mothers shouldn't do and brainwashing techniques that mothers shouldn't use. This causes him to turn out as some variation of really submissive to Black women or over-sexualized in general, and he only responds to, or he's always on the lookout for, ass and titties. He's primarily sexually attracted to women way older than him, i.e. sexually attracted to women that reminds him of his mother. We've all heard the saying, your mama's Black. Why do you like a certain woman when she doesn't look anything like your mom? That's weird. But we don't think it's weird. It's not weird in the Black community because it's a part of the culture. Later on in this video, I'm going to explain why that is, but first I'm going to break down the role oxytocin plays in this.
So what is oxytocin, and why is it considered the love hormone? Well, oxytocin is a neuropeptide, which means that it's a short-chain polypeptide that's used as a neurotransmitter, relaying a signal from one neuron to another. Oxytocin is released by the pituitary gland and binds to oxytocin receptors, which can be found on cells in the brain as well as the rest of the body. Oxytocin is crucial during the delivery of a baby. It helps with cervical dilation and contractions. Then, during breastfeeding, oxytocin gets released in response to a baby's suckling or even a baby's cry as part of the reflex that allows milk to be let down from the nipples. But oxytocin affects everyone, not just mothers. It promotes generosity and trust, decreases fear, and even helps people recover from negative social interactions. Oxytocin is also incredibly important for pair bonding, like in romantic relationships, increasing mood and feelings of attachment. And it's even thought to help with sexual arousal and orgasms. But it also plays a role in platonic relationships. For example, oxytocin levels rise in humans and dogs after they've spent time petting or playing together. However, for all its rosy effects, oxytocin does have some thorns.
Ooh.
Oxytocin facilitates bonding among people with shared characteristics, meaning that it makes us favor people that are like us in some way and have a bias against people who aren't like us. All of this to say that oxytocin plays a complex and nuanced role in the body.
The behavior of the type of mothers that I'm addressing in this video is very common for people with personality disorders, specifically borderline personality disorder. And people with BPD are deficient in oxytocin. Their oxytocin levels are lower than other people's, so naturally they feel that they need to compensate for that. It's a natural response to try to raise their oxytocin levels. They become oxytocin seekers as a result. And these types of women, they're not aware that they're oxytocin deficient. They would just feel like they need more love and bonding and other feelings associated with oxytocin. If there's no one in the picture romantically, if there's no partner, she'll still seek oxytocin from those around her, the people that she's closest to, and that will happen to be her children most of the time. This type of woman will sometimes purposely have children as a single mother through a sperm bank, etc., just so that they can get that oxytocin and love or bonding from the motherhood experience. Well, after that oxytocin-fueled bonding with their infant child, and I talked about this in the Norman Bates video, where these types of women will breastfeed for years longer than they should, and things like that, really inappropriate things like that. This type of woman will continue to get oxytocin from the child in inappropriate ways. For her sons, she's going to turn her son into her little husband, make her son give her love and companionship like her husband should. She'll respond the same way to the child's love that she would get from an adult man. Now, it depends on the woman how far that will go, how far she'll take that. Women who don't do this, who don't have a husband or a stable partner, they might seek oxytocin from men, multiple men, throughout their life because she's chasing the oxytocin. She might even have gay experiences with her homegirls to get it too. Some people get it from their pets, maybe smear peanut butter downstairs and have the dog lick it off. People do things like this. Although you can get oxytocin from bonding with a pet or bonding with a friend, I'm talking about the abnormal side of things, the personality disordered. Whoever is in close proximity, she'll seek the oxytocin from. These types of women get it from their young daughters too. They turn her into her best friend, like her mini-me, her little best friend. Sometimes they'll do this to a niece. So with all of that said, the best remedy for this would be a stable marriage or a stable relationship and having friendships and loved ones that you can bond with in your life. But borderlines don't tend to have that due to their chaotic interpersonal relationships. They tend to burn bridges with everyone that they know, and they don't know how to stop it. They need help, but oftentimes they won't get it. So as an alternative for them, if getting oxytocin naturally isn't possible, they do sell oxytocin. This is something that would definitely need to be discussed with a doctor. But the thing is, do we go to doctors? Do we actively try to change our behaviors or work on self? Are we good with things like that as a people? And I want to say, by the way, that there are a lot of Black men who are aware of all of this. Sans the diagnoses and oxytocin and all of that other stuff. I don't think they think that deep into it, but they know who they're dealing with and they're willing to love Black women anyway. But these women keep trying to destroy them. So, unfortunately, most of the Black male population has been raised by their mothers in inappropriate conditions. He'll either become a man who accepts all faults and abuse from all Black women, or he'll become a man that will turn out to hate all Black women. And as far as the latter, Black women would have created what they complain about. Then they'll come on a platform and complain with tank tops and cleavage and Raymore and Flanagan and continue to seek sexual gratification from their YouTube sons.